Welcome to Unwiring Tech. I'm your host Ranjana, and today I'm here to unwire the recent controversy involving X and the Indian government. The Karnataka High Court has become a battleground for one of the most consequential digital rights showdowns in the recent Indian history. X Corp, formerly known as Twitter, found itself locking horns with the Indian state over the takedown orders that it deems opaque, excessive, and unconstitutional. At the heart of this case lies a deeper dilemma, one that continues to haunt democracies in the digital age. How does a nation protect itself from the wildfire of online misinformation without extinguishing free expression? With more than 900 million users now online, India is navigating a critical inflection point in its digital evolution. Recent developments, from the abrupt blocking of Reuters accounts to the controversial Karnataka Misinformation and Fake News Prohibition Bill 2025, highlight the growing tension between state control and digital liberties. As the government seeks to bring order to the internet, critics warn that India risks repeating the censorship mistakes of the past. India's internet revolution has been transformative. By mid-2025, nearly two-thirds of the country's 1.4 billion population is online, connecting by cheap data plans, budget smartphones, and regional content platforms. From remote villages in Karnataka to the skyscrapers in Mumbai, the web has become a tool for empowerment. Farmers use it to check crop prices, students log in for global lectures, citizens organize, protest, and raise their voices. But this empowerment has come with a paradox. The same networks that amplify voices also amplify falsehoods. Misinformation, be it electoral conspiracy theories, communal disinformation, or pseudoscientific health claims, now spreads with viral intensity. India's linguistic and cultural diversity, while enriching, compounds the challenge of online moderation. Platforms struggle to grasp contextual nuance, and the state is increasingly stepping in to fill the regulatory void. Now, what exactly happened? On July 8, 2025, Ex-Corp's counsel, Senior Advocate K.G. Raghavan, stood before Honorable Justice M. Naga Prasanna and delivered a sharp argument. Thousands of officers appointed by union across the country, each with their own subjective understanding of online content, are making decisions within their respective jurisdictions under Section 79. This results in arbitrary and inconsistent content regulation. X's main contention lies with the Sahyog portal, an initiative by Ministry of Home Affairs, which facilitate content removal without invoking Section 69A. The platform has described Sahyog as an illegal censorship tool, claiming it bypasses the safeguard laid down by Supreme Court. The stakes are high. If X fails to comply with the takedown requests, it risks losing its safe harbor protection under Section 79, exposing it to criminal and civil liability for user-generated content. Yet, over-compliance could alienate users and chill public discourse. So what exactly is this Section 69A and 79(3)(b)? The backbone of India's digital regulation remains the Information Technology Act 2000, a statute crafted in the early days of the Internet but stretched today to its limit. Within it lie several pivotal sections. Section 69A grants the government power to block online content in the interest of national security or public order, but with procedural safeguards such as review committee and reasoned orders. It survived the Shreya Singhal verdict due to its structured checks. On the other side, Section 79(3)(b) requires online intermediaries to act expeditiously to disable access to unlawful content once notified. However, unlike 69A, it lacks transparency, judicial oversight, and clarity, creating a grey zone that now lies at the center of Ex-Corp's legal challenge. To fully grasp the gravity of present moment, it is essential to revisit Section 66A, a provision that once symbolized the perils of vague and overbroad speech restrictions. The section criminalized online content deemed grossly offensive or annoying, leading to high-profile arrests over political satire and social media posts. And in 2015, the Supreme Court struck it down in Shreya Singh's case, holding it unconstitutional for violating the right to freedom of speech under Article 19 of the Constitution. The judgment marked a turning point, emphasizing that any restriction on speech must be clear, narrowly tailored, and procedurally just. While it dismantled 66A's overreach, it remained notably silent on ambiguities of Section 79(3)(b. That omission has left a legal vacuum, one that is now reverberating across India's courtroom. On July 3, X-Corp stunned the global media landscape by revealing that it had blocked 2,355 accounts, including those of Reuters and Reuters World, on the basis of takedown order it claimed come from Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, without any explanation. Media denied issuing fresh orders while Reuters was still grasping in the dark, unable to even identify the offending posts. Public backlash was swift. Accusation of censorship flooded social media. Media asked X to reverse the ban, but by then the damage was done. Now let's talk about the recent Karnataka's Misinformation and Fake News Prohibition Bill 2025. Framed as a proactive measure to combat digital falsehoods, the bill has drawn criticism for resembling a tool of suppression rather than regulation. Key features of the bill include: the bill defines misinformation as knowingly or recklessly spreading falsehoods and fake news as fabricated or distorted content. It also criminalizes vaguely worded offenses like anti-feminist speech, disrespect towards Hindu symbols, and content lacking authentic research on religion or science, raising red flags over subjective enforcement. To implement this, the government proposed a Fake News on Social Media Regulatory Authority chaired by the Ministry of Kannada and Culture, with sweeping powers to determine what qualifies as misinformation. Special courts will handle cases, and the bill extends its reach beyond state borders to any content accessible in Karnataka, sparking concerns over jurisdictional overreach. The penalties are severe, up to 5 years in prison and 10 lakhs in fine for standard offences, and up to 7 years of aggravated ones, such as those affecting elections or public health. Even those accused of aiding misinformation may be prosecuted, vastly widening the net. Most troubling is the provision of preemptive censorship. Authorities can issue takedown orders before content is even posted, pushing platforms toward excessive compliance and creating a chilling effect on legitimate speech. Now, what is the constitutional challenge? The bill has been alleged to be legally precarious, and accusations that its vague terminology violates the Shreya Singhal standard or precision. Many of its restrictions on satire, dissent, or vague offences like public tranquility exceed the scope of Article 19(2) of the Constitution. Furthermore, its overlap with central IT laws raises federalism concerns. Legal experts predict a flood of court challenges. The bill is being touted as the already struck down Section 66A of IT Act in a new robe, equally expansive, equally dangerous. Beyond legality, the bill casts a long shadow on Karnataka's social fabric. In a polarized political environment, subjective terms like anti-feminist or disrespectful to Sanatan symbols risk being used selectively, often against critics, activists, or even minority groups. Self-censorship is already seeping in, with social media users reportedly deleting politically sensitive posts for fear of criminal liability. Even global content creators may be impacted. The law's extraterritorial reach means that the blogger in Toronto or Berlin could face consequences for content visible in Bangalore. The result, a digital climate of anxiety and silence. Now, India's ongoing content regulation saga underscores deep, unresolved tensions. The government at all levels is keen on combating misinformation, but have been accused of bypassing legal safeguards and using administrative muscle. Civil liberties groups like Internet Freedom Foundation warn against aggressive censorship laws that infringe on free speech. Meanwhile, technology platform is trapped between legal mandates and user trust, and companies like X-Corp are increasingly turning to the courts for clarity. Whereas at the heart of this conflict, citizens are torn between safety and liberty. Hence, India's digital democracy stands at a crossroad. The country's sheer scale of 900 million users, multiple languages, infinite opinion demands a content moderation framework that is transparent, principled, and technologically agile. Karnataka's bill, if enacted in the current form, will not serve the cause. Reforms urgently needed. Section 79(3)(b) must be harmonized with the procedural rigor of Section 69A. The takedown processes must be accompanied by public, reasoned orders, and state-level laws must respect constitutional and federal boundaries. The choice before India is stark. Will it lean towards empowerment or control? Shreya Singhal offered a path, one that marries speech with responsibility, freedom with fairness. And it is time that we walk it again. Thank you for tuning in to Unwiring Tech.